Hey YouTubers, good morning, Robb. Guys, I was watching Prepper Princess the other day. She did a video on all the items that she buys used, like the top things that frugal people purchase used instead of buying new. And I'm thinking to myself, that'd be a good video for me to make. I'm pretty frugal. Pretty much a tightwad, if I do say so myself. So here's like 17, 18 things that I buy used that I thought might be interesting. First of all, number one, cameras. Or I should say phones. This is a Samsung A21, $40. $40 on eBay used because it has a little crack right here. You can go on eBay right now and find fairly decent phones for very small prices because they have a defect in the screen. I just put a screensaver over the top to protect it in case it should crack anymore. I've had it for the last year and a half. The last 100 videos I've made on YouTube have been with this camera. Right now I'm using the Osmo Pocket number 1, which leads me to the second thing I buy used. I bought the Osmo Pocket number 1 used on eBay. I buy a lot of my cameras over the years on eBay or used or refurbished, which is the next item. Electronics and cameras, I buy a lot of times refurbished from the website of the manufacturer. I've purchased Kodak years ago when they were a real business. I bought cameras from them. I bought cameras from Sony and other companies refurbished. Are also refurbished on the Amazon website. So if you want to purchase phones, cameras, or other electronic items, you can buy them refurbished, oftentimes for very little money. And also, I've had a lot of good luck with digital electronic equipment that the seller said was in good condition. I've rarely had a problem. When I've had a problem over the years, it balanced out to where when I bought something new or something used, it was pretty much the same difference. Sometimes you'd have buy something brand new and it would be a bad product. It didn't work. Same thing used, but over the years, buying used has saved me a lot of money and it has been a big problem. Next item is used boats. I don't think I've ever bought a new, but yes, I have. When I was the first boat I ever bought, in fact, it was a plastic covered foam sailboat called the Snark, Super Snark, for like $129 from the toy store. But other than that, every other boat I've had has been used. And boats are kind of interesting because you can find them in all different sizes, all different levels of care and how good they're put together, or they're still not falling apart. You know, you can get practically a really good boat that hardly needs any work to one that you'd be crazy to even get for free. But you can still get them for practically nothing on both ends of the spectrum, from a really bad boat that needs a lot of repair to one hardly needs anything. But it's unusual. And so boats, it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy new. It really doesn't, in most cases. For cars, same thing. Everybody should buy one car at least once in their life new. I bought a Toyota Tercel new in 1988 and had it for years. But all my other cars, Volkswagens, Toyotas, always bought them used and been very, very lucky. I never did the smart thing and got a mechanic inspection, which is insane. And I would never do it nowadays because cars are so complicated and there's so much going on that you could very easily have something wrong that would just be the end of your car. Cars are so crazy nowadays. I know someone has it was a Chrysler 300 or 600, whatever. Nice car, spent a lot of money. He goes through a mud puddle and water gets sucked up into the intake somehow and blows up the engine. Like, you have a car in one of the rainiest places in America and it goes through a mud puddle and it destroys the car. So like, you need to pick really good, dependable cars to begin with and then have them inspected. But buy used, you can save a ton of money. The tools I bought over the years, I've been very lucky. Hand tools are easy to buy used. And also, nowadays you can go on eBay and people will sell lots of tools. Like somebody died in the family, they have all these tools. They don't want to sell them one by one, so they put them in a pile and they sell them as a whole pile, as a lot. And you can get a huge bargain sometimes by getting a lot of hand tools and things people use at home and so on for practically nothing. The other tools, to be honest, unless you can, the power tools, unless you can see them and use them, if they've got a burn up engine, forget about the battery. Usually you're going to have to replace the battery anyway. But the hand tools, and some of these saws that you can find, they're actually collector's items. You can, and other hand tools, so they're good purchase in that respect. So yeah, hand tools are a great buy. Now, if you need a specialized tool, like right now, I'm looking to get a bandsaw. But if you go look at it, don't buy it sight unseen, have it shipped to the mail or something. You wouldn't do that with big tools anyway, probably. But you could still get some pretty good bargains buying used for the larger tools. Clothes, thrift stores have gone up in prices by huge amounts. And sometimes it's not worth it to buy clothes at thrift stores, except when you know what you're buying. An educated consumer is what was that article, that advertisement? An educated consumer is our best customer. The more you know about clothes and what makes a really good clothes, people buy brands all the time. Sometimes brands, they're popular. Doesn't mean they're well made or they're going to last a long time. But sometimes brands are a brand because they are extremely well made and they will last a very, very long time. Like you look at some shoes like Red Wing boots or Doc Martens and other ones. The people have made different things for a long time and really well built, and they build up a reputation. And when you go to the thrift store, a lot of times people have tons and tons of clothes and they put the same price on everything, and you can get really, really good bargains if you know what you're doing. But for just regular run-of-the-mill clothes, you're almost better off just going to Walmart or another regular outlet store and buying them new. Like hats, I've purchased hats, inexpensive hats from Amazon for $3 shipped from China. That was including everything. So how you that was cheaper than the thrift store. But boots, shoes, clothes, and hats, if you know what you're buying, yeah, you can get excellent bargains. Like I buy shoes a lot. Like I buy the topsider shoes, and in the photographs on eBay, you can see the bottom of them. See if there's anywhere. You can look in the sole, see if there's any discoloration or any stains or anything that's wrong, blemishes. And if it looks in really good shape, those shoes will last a very long time. You get them for $10, $15, and normally costs you $70, $80, $110. So yeah, you can get good bargains with clothes and shoes and so on. Fishing reels. You can get old Penn Senators if you do a lot of like deep sea fishing, or you do some surf fishing. You get the like the Fluger and the Garcias. Sometimes really good Garcias you can get for really good prices used on eBay and in thrift stores. Kitchen appliances. I've purchased old Vitamix blenders for $100. And it's still going strong, and it's from the 1970s. I have an Acme juicer, I think that's from 1960, and it weighs 100 pounds, and it's still going strong, and that cost me $25. So if you buy really good, top quality, good kitchen appliances at thrift stores, often they'll be priced the same as something that's very poorly made from last year, So yeah, if you know what you're doing, know what you're buying, you can get really good bargains used. The larger appliances, the new appliances nowadays are kind of scary because they're all computerized, electronics and everything costs a lot. But the older stuff, there's a lot of sites online, not a lot, but there's a few sites online where you can determine what's wrong with your appliance and then purchase the part. And I'll give you an example. Some years ago, my mom had a dryer, it wasn't working, and I did some analysis, and I went online, and by using the online website of how to fix stuff, I determined what it was. So I called a local appliance parts store here in town, and I went there to pick it up. And when I talked to the guy, he said this was a resistor, a fuse or something. I think it was a fuse, because it wouldn't work. It would heat up and stop working. And he said, yeah, what you need to do is after you put that fuse in, he said go outside and check where the air is exited from the dryer, you've probably got a bird nest that built a nest in there and it's blocking the air. And I went to my mom's house, put in the fuse, made sure it worked, went outside, got a ladder, went up there and looked in. She was on the second floor. There was a bird nest. So you don't have to pay a lot for people to come fix your stuff. You can learn a lot online. You can get the parts online. And a lot of times when you buy stuff, people don't know what they're doing. They just give up and they get rid of something for nothing. And it might just need a fuse or a simple part. Something else is a lot of times refrigerators. That lasts for 30 years. When they go bad, oftentimes it's something simple like a thermostat, like 60% of the time. And they're simple to put in. So you can get stuff that even if you get it used and it breaks, usually it's something simple like the thermostat. So instead of spending a ton of money getting something fancy and new, it's got all these computers and, it's like, get you something kind of older. It's not got a lot of bells and whistles on it. And it's a popular brand, so there's a lot of parts. And there's stuff online shows you how to fix it. I would buy that over something brand new. I think, especially, you're probably going to save a huge amount of money. A lot of people spend money on pets. They purchase dogs and cats, their fancy breeds and stuff. We never purchase a new store-bought pet. We always had friends, relatives that had puppies or kittens or whatever, or somebody was giving some away in a neighborhood, and it never costed. Of course, nowadays, to keep pets costs a lot. Years ago, it didn't cost a lot because we fed the dogs and cats, what we ate half the time, and if something got wrong with it, we tried to take care of it, and usually we couldn't afford to take it to the vet anyway, and if we did, there probably wasn't much we could do. But now, it's like they're spending as much as you would on your firstborn child, and it's extraordinarily expensive to have pets nowadays. And I can understand why people would spend the money, don't get me wrong. I like pets sometimes more than some people. But just go ahead and spend that money to buy a fancy pet from a pedigree and something, when you could just get an old mutt that's going to love you just as much and be just as much fun and just have as big a place in your heart as that animal that cost you thousands of dollars. Construction material, believe it or not, Facebook Marketplace and some other places online, I found cement block, plywood, paint, hurricane awnings, hurricane shutters, stuff that isn't going to be rusted or rotted or delaminated, that you can just wash off and squirt a little oil on it. You're good to go. Very little prices. Believe it or not, here in South Florida, in other parts of the country, they have stores called salvage stores where they sell food that's been salvaged. They have cans that have dents on them, or they have something that was going to go out of date in another 2 months, or maybe it was a box of cornflakes and the size was too big, so they couldn't sell them, so they had to let them go, and they sold them through the salvage store, whatever. You can sometimes get really low prices on food. It's not used food, but it's not food you would get at the stores. It's kind of interesting. You want to check out and see if you have a salvage food store in your area. Books, VHS tapes, DVDs, such as people still use them in nowadays. We always bought used. The first few I ever bought were new, but after that, you'd get them from the library used, or you'd watch them and bring them back, or you'd get them at the thrift store. And yeah, books are still pretty expensive, but yeah, you can get them a lot cheaper used. Everybody knows that though. Furniture. Here's like 2 or 3 places you get furniture for practically nothing or for nothing. One of the best places in the world is moving storage companies. Oftentimes, several times a year, will have auctions where when people move, they didn't pay for something and now they have this furniture and they have to get rid of, and they'll sell for practically nothing. Second is when people have stuff stored in storage sites and they give them up. You can get stuff, have a storage bin, it's full of furniture. You get that way. The third way is where I live in a 55 and over community. Every week is trash day, where people throw out their bulk trash, and there's 1,000 units here. So every week you can go around, not every week, but within a month, you're going to find a good piece of wooden furniture. I mean, you always find like cloth furniture and stuff that could have cooties in it, or maybe it rained and now it's wet. But so you can find really good wooden furniture that just you need to take home and maybe you could refinish or whatever, or maybe do nothing. I've seen teak furniture, all sorts of furniture, antique furniture, and amazing types of chairs that should be in a museum. Regular credenzas and dressers and that sort of stuff from mid-century. It's for nothing. Just pick it up and go. So those are 3 places to buy your furniture instead of buying new. Bikes, I have purchased, except for one exception, was a folding bicycle. My whole lifetime I've always gotten new or used bicycles and never saw the difference. Lastly, for e-bikes, I purchased, and I've made some videos about it, the Jetson Bow e-bike, refurbished or used. It was also refurbished for like $249. It was normally $450, and it came and it was brand new except like the brake disc was bent and it was something else that needed to be attention taken care of. So saved a lot of money by just seeing if there was a cheaper price refurbished. And obviously you get them used on Facebook Marketplace pretty inexpensively. You just have to worry about the batteries then. So those are like 18 different things that I buy used. And I think at least one of them might help somebody out there. So it was a pleasure doing this video. I might do more on low-cost ways to face the economic times that we are in. Things are getting interesting, aren't they, guys and gals? So, all right, guys, it was fun. Hope you like this one. Do more. See you. Take care.